are instructed to do by their DNA. Otherwise, they don't make it in the world. But we can go along and we can say, oh, the dog's chasing me. I don't have to run up a tree. I can turn around and I have a little zapper, or I have a leash, or I have some other tool that I can use to stop the dog from, coming near me. There are things we can do, things that animals can't, because we can think and we can make stuff, and then we alter the environment that we live in by doing that.
Isn't that crazy? That for millions and millions of years that wasn't the case. Like the dinosaurs, they're basically the
Right?
like the
Kings of the world.
kings of the
Yeah.
world, and they never reached that level, like the one that we call like smartness or whatever. Like they're
Right.
just killing
Right.
each other for millions of. Yeah, so it's so crazy that it took adversity for us to actually become smart, not time, because people intuitively would say like it just takes billions of years, and over time you just get smarter and smart. That's not the case. Like you need adversity, which is like it just makes the odds of life evolving even harder. It's insane.
Right. Well, it's true. I think the thing is, the brain itself is an evolution.
Oh,
So like plants don't have brains, but they have a neural system,
they hear
because they
music.
don't. Well, yeah, and they don't really need a brain the way like animals do, because plants are sort of set in one place, right? They have their roots and they sit down. They don't need a huge amount of coordination attempt to sit, to do the things they do. So every brain lives in an environment, and they have to trade off the amount of resources they need and the size of brain they can have. So depending on the environment, you'll get a bigger brain or a smaller brain, and depending on what you need. So bees, have little tiny brains because they're little tiny bees, but they do a lot of stuff. They communicate with each other. They live in colonies. They do amazing things. But the brain is an evolutionary thing, like an arm or a leg. And it's just that finally the brain with humans, the brain took an extra step that hadn't been taken before. But I'm sure we've been leading up to that. Primates, some primates can use tools. Some primates, you can actually teach them language. So the brains, mass has been growing. Dolphins have huge brains. Octopus, crows have really big brains. They're very intelligent. If you look at, they remember things. You read stories about crows who drop like all this, you know, crow poop on a certain person, and they chase him around. It's like,
What?
what did that guy do? Yeah,
What?
they're really, really smart, and they have all kinds of. It's hilarious. It's like, what did that guy do? We must have run over like Grandma Crow or something, and they're just mad. You know, I don't know, but there are a lot of intelligent creatures, but none of them have gotten to the level that humans have gotten to be able to do this abstract thinking and the ability to produce like such creativity. And our ideas evolve on their own too. So our ideas have evolved ever since humans have been creating ideas. They've been evolving too. So what started as language and speech is now, computers and satellites and space, and you and I, our ability to have a podcast halfway across the world.
That's wonderful. I know, like, as far as I understand, there's a lot of debate what caused this accelerated evolution, right? Some people
Right.
have this, how it's called again, the a stoned ape
Mm-hmm.
theory, where like our ancestors just ate a bunch of hallucinogenic mushrooms, and that's why our brains evolved so fast. If you ask History Channel, aliens, they mixed up some alien DNA into our ancestors.
Right. Right.
But I think no one really knows, right? There's this
Right.
missing link. What your take on
Right.
this?
But it is, I guess, for my perspective, and I will do this a lot, is it doesn't matter how it happened. I know it evolved because everything evolves, but whether aliens dropped in and dropped some DNA or some different, stuff that helped, primates develop brains, I don't know. I know it happened. I know that the brain, you look at what brain, like neuroscientists study, and you see the similarities between primate brains and fish brains and dolphins and all kinds of brains. We are so much more similar to animals than we are different, that it's remarkable. So to me it doesn't matter. It matters that we are here with these brains, and that we should understand that that evolution occurred, and we should go ahead and explore what that means and use the wisdom that came before us to be better at this living job that we have.
Yeah, that's a great answer. That's a really good answer. And while you're talking, I just remember I'm gonna share with the audience real quick, um, that pigs do. Oh, what? Pigs do not have 99.9 the same
So
specific DNA base per sequence as humans DNA. Sure, we don't share the DNA itself 100%. What? So
yeah,
I'm wrong?
we don't we so no, primates are
Oh,
99%.
primates. Yeah.
Fish are around 70%, and yeast is around 32%. So if you did primates, it would be like 99%. um
Yeah, the difference is about
they have
1.6.
so they have 98.4. Yeah.
That's
But
not
yeah,
a
I do.
lot.
I study this in my book. We're still like 32%. We're just like yeast, you know, and 70. I think we're 72% like fish. And if you look at a fish, they breathe with their bodies, with their gills. We breathe air, in with lungs, and yet you can look at the comparisons of how you know. Um, Gills turned into appendages, and it's just really or gills turned into lungs, and their fins turned into our arms and legs. It's really fascinating, if you look at the studies about that. And one of the things that it's really important that I mentioned in my book is that I am very high level. This is a theory at the very highest level, and there are a lot of really good scientists who go deep in particular areas. And what I would like them to be able to do is take this information that I have about how this overall concept of how cells work together, and how humans can work together with these concepts, and maybe come up, maybe not scientists because they're busy studying science, but like economists and social workers who can look at this world in terms of here's how your body eats, right? We eat with our mouths, and it's processed in our stomach, and then every single cell is fed. Everyone, every single cell is fed, but only one part of the body is actually doing the consumption and eating.